My name is Professor Alfonso Severos, and this is the Peripheral View, my weekly video series. Today I'd like to discuss booster shots. And there are two main reasons why people who are vaccinated, who have the first and second shot, should take the booster shot. And the most important reason is that even if you have both shots, over a 6-month period, the immunity, the effectiveness of the vaccine decreases. So when you first get your shots, your immunity is at 95%. After 6 months, it drops to about 65%. So we need this added immunity in order to fight new variants of the virus. Right now, it's the Delta variant. And most cases around the world are products of the Delta variant. So the added immunity is definitely needed. And so even if you're vaccinated, it's important that you get that booster shot. And the CDC in the future will probably look at the vaccine as a 3-dose vaccine, which is the first shot that you get, the second shot, and the booster. And that's probably going to be how it's going to be classified in the very near future. Right now, this pandemic is not over. In fact, the numbers are rising across the world, including the United States. We see increases in Austria, Poland, Germany, Russia, England, parts South Africa, Peru. Peru has one of the highest death rates. And that's because so much of the population are unvaccinated. 64% of Americans have been vaccinated. Only 62% of Europeans have been vaccinated. And only 10% of Africans have been vaccinated. Now, if you're unvaccinated, that's the population who are at the greatest risk to catch the virus. And so you have these large numbers of people who are unvaccinated, and you just can't think of the United States. You have to think of it in terms of the whole world. You increase the likelihood because they catch the virus, and it's a question of probability and statistics. The more people who catch it, because they're unvaccinated, the greater the chance of the virus mutating. And every time there's a mutation, you have the risk that it would spread faster, people will die quicker, and the current vaccine will not work. So we need to really somehow focus on vaccinating the unvaccinated. In Austria, vaccinations are now mandatory. And it's not a question of individual rights. It's not a question of individual rights because it's really a question of public health. So if I'm unvaccinated and I catch the virus, I have the chance of catching the virus and then spreading the virus in a mutated form. So we have a new version. Now, the coronavirus have mutated. You have had the alpha variant, the beta variant. Beta variant wasn't that much of a threat. The Delta variant, which is pretty big now. It's the fastest growing variant that we see with the virus. And so this ongoing virus has really decimated the public health system in the United States and around the world. You see medical professionals, both doctors and nursing, leaving the profession, being overwhelmed, being frustrated, chronic fatigue, and burning out. So it's really showing the weakness in the medical and health system. As to date, In the United States, about 777,000 people have died from the coronavirus. Around the world, about 5 million. The number one variant today is the Delta variant. Now, South Africa just discovered a new variant, Omnicron. It's a new variant. They don't know much about it, but they are very concerned because it seems to spread faster. It may be more deadly, and it's going to take time to find out if the current vaccine is effective against the new variant. So this can cause major problems. And there's a reason why this new variant surfaced in South Africa. Because only 10% of the population of Africa were vaccinated because they didn't have means to the vaccine. Thus, you had this large group of unvaccinated people. Once they get infected, the virus spreads, and mutate. And you have the probability and the chances of a mutated variant that is much more destructive than the current virus. So we are a long way from out of the woods. We have to see how this Omicron new variant, does it spread quickly? Does it lead to death? And is it resistant to the vaccination? That's still going to be determined. So far, we have seen this Omicron variant in South Africa, in England, in Israel, and in Hong Kong. And it's probably in other countries, and it will spread. Closing the borders, one thing we learned from the coronavirus, closing the borders does not stop the virus. Okay. The virus does not recognize borders. Okay, I hope this was informative. Thanks for watching.